concept in Judeo-Arabic judicial works. And the first speaker will be Stampfer. Tzvi's doctoral thesis dealt with the laws of divorce by Samuel Ben Hocknigon. Tzvi's areas of expertise is gender and family law in the Middle Ages, and it's based largely on the judicial works in Judeo-Arabic that are found in the Friedberg Genizah. From 2014 to 2016, Tzvi was my colleague in the Genizah Research Unit in Cambridge, and there he made many important discoveries on Judeo-Arabic jurisprudence, and he also lectured to students often and convened a series of workshops, of which this is a third. So Tzvi, take it away.
Thank you. Okay. There will be 2 pages. Okay. What we try to do now. 2 pages. Okay. What we try to do now is to go through some theological concept by Abdel-Jabbar, and then to go to the judicial part, and then to combine it together and see the results. So for some of us dealing with the theological background, it will be, I think, nothing will be new, and a lot of us used to deal with the halachic background, nothing will be new, and the combination will be interesting. So let's start with Abdel-Jabbar, and I'll speak about the concept of what he calls sukun nafs, quality of the soul. This is well known among scholars, I think, about 50 years at least, but we'll go over the main concept. The main idea is you study an issue, doesn't matter what, and then you are seeking the truth. You have some ideas, and you said, no, this is not a very good idea. And then you are continue working, and then think, okay, maybe I have another idea. After that you say, no, this is not the idea. When you know this is not the truth, when you know that you have really something exciting, you reach to the point, you discovered a new discovery, and this is it. How can you know? So Abdel-Jabbar suggests an idea. Number 1, this is from Peter Ben Moore. Maybe I'll use the Phil's idea. Phil, would you like to read the...
I'll do it in English, though.
Okay.
We have already elucidated the way in which one can know that he has acquired a new piece of knowledge and that his speculation is correct.
Okay, this is our what we're trying to find out.
So we define this as when he knows by his attitude, second enough, by his attitude that he has tranquility of the soul, there's second enough, in regard to the acquired knowledge. And B, this acquired knowledge conforms to the knowledge that preceded it, namely that this, the tranquility of the soul, follows true knowledge.
Okay, let's stop here for a moment. What he's trying to say that sometimes, and I believe that any scholar who is sitting here can maybe understand what he's saying. Sometimes, when you reach an idea, you say, okay, this is it. I have it. Now I have a new, truly, a discovery. Which means the soul is tranquil toward the new idea. You know it through your soul. which means you work with your mind. You have previous knowledge. You compare this new knowledge to other parts of knowledge that you already acquired. And then it fits, and you have the feeling, you have the notion that what you have reached is the truth. And why? Because your soul cannot stand still, cannot feel good with her spirit itself, because she's seeking the truth. Now, when you met the truth, you know. How do you know? How do you know? This is God's lutf. How do you translate lutf? This is God's
divine assistance.
Divine assistance. Okay? God maybe transplant in your soul the truth. And when you meet it, you know this is it. Okay? I don't know any scholar of sitting in the moment. Maybe you had once the feeling that, okay, that's it. I reached the point. I don't know if you understand what he's trying to say, but now. So the idea is the transquality of the soul, and after processing of the details, which means first you have to work through your mind, and then you have the cooperation of your soul. Okay? So let's continue.
In these circumstances, he is certain that what he has attained is true knowledge, and that his inquiries generated the truth, and there is no need for further inquiries.
Yeah, this is why he feels better now. Okay?
This proposal negates the opinion that one can only know the correctness of his knowledge by an infinite series of additional knowledge, and also negates the opinion that we do not know the correctness of a certain speculation except by another act of speculation, and also negates the opinion that all inquiries are equal, the implication being that we could never know its correctness, and that is why we do not agree with those opinions.
Okay, there are some scholars that will always work again and again because they always ask questions, they always will try to seek the truth but never reach it because they think that they should raise question upon questions upon questions, and this is endless. When you have the feelings of transquality of the soul, so you, after, of course, hard work, you know that you reach the truth. So this is the first idea that we want to take. There's two others. Now, Abdul-Jabbar continues, the source number 2. Ben, would you like to help us? Thank you.
The tranquility of the person's soul.
I like that best. You love the British accent.
That makes sense.
Shakespeare it up a bit. The tranquility of the person's soul towards the knowledge he/she attains is not by means of perception, but of intuition, in the same manner that we know the evil of injustice and the virtue of justice. This cause exists in all types of knowledge, and the reliance on it is obligatory.
Okay, this is very, very important to us. This idea, you should apply in any kind of knowledge. Any kind of knowledge. You have the ability to acknowledge the truth, to know when you meet it, and this is something that is natural. Like you know that something is evil and evil is bad, like you know that something is good, the same thing with the truth. And this cause exists in all type of knowledge, and you will see in a couple of minutes how the Jewish scholars tried to apply this kind of knowledge in other fields of ideas. So we have the transformativity of the soul, we have it's something natural, it's something that was embedded in our soul, in our personality. And the third principle that we would like to take, this is source number 3. Any other volunteer can help me, please?
The manner in which the correctness of any source of knowledge can be defined is that the knowledge in question is the only one which can be characterized exclusively in terms of tranquility of the soul.
What do you mean any sort of knowledge? Any sort of knowledge. Any sort of knowledge can be any sort. Biblical knowledge, scientific knowledge, Jewistic knowledge, any kind of knowledge. Okay? So this is the basic idea from the theological point of view. Why I'm calling it theological? Because this is a concept that God actually created or transplant in your personality, the ability to know the truth. And after you are trying hard with your mind and you reach this status of your soul, you can know that you reach the truth. You can recognize, you can know the truth. Okay? So far, so good? Let's turn the page. Now, I would like to say that the Jewish scholars applied this theological idea, aspect, into the Jewish law in several occasions. Most of the sources, I think most of the people around here that deals with Talmudic and Jewish law know those sources very well. But the way that the Jewish scholars use it in the Middle Ages, in the Judeo-Arabic milieu, it's, I think, surprising. So let's go. So this is Mel mentioned that I dealt with family law. This is a Judeo-Arabic work, unknown author. I don't know who's the author, but he brings citations from Rav Sadegon, from other Geonim, Chodolot, Sheiltot, Alfasi, which means it was written not before the 12th century. Okay? But not many years after. So he deals with the contradiction that he finds in the Talmud. Now let's go to the Talmudic discussions. We say that a non-Jew is not counted among the testifiers. He cannot be a witness, since the Bible connected between Jews and testimony, as it states, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. And the verse speaks about re'acha, lo ta'neh bere'acha. Re'acha, you can translate as your neighbor, your friend, but the Talmudic scholars interpreted the word re'acha as your brother. And second, the Hebrew verse is ועשיתם לו כאשר זמם לעשות לאחיו. So the verse is, you shall do to him, to this witness, as it seeks him to do to his fellow, to his brother. And so the biblical verses speaks about connected between witnesses and Jews. And the sages said explicitly, non-Jew is not qualified to testify. אין עדות לגוי. Okay? אין עדות לגוי. We, the Jewish scholars, can accept in the court testimony only by Jews. If a non-Jewish a witness comes to the court and wants to give testimony, we shall not accept. This is the will which means the sages of the Talmud. So, on the other hand, one would ask, how did the sages state categorically that a non-Jew is not qualified to testimony? And they stated, this is another Talmudic phrase, any document that is approved by a non-Jewish court, despite the fact that those who sign it are Gentiles, is valid, except for bills of divorce, freeing slaves bills, and the like. So there's another Talmudic paragraph which states that if we have a document signed by non-Jewish witnesses, it is valid. So on the one hand, you say that we will accept just Jewish witnesses. On the other hand, you say, okay, if you have a document signed by non-Jewish, and non-Jewish court, you will accept it. So we have contradiction between two sources. So the solution he suggests will respond and unreveal the meaning of this statement in accordance with God's guidance and his clarification of its vagueness. We say that the sages did not advocate signing such document for the sake of testimony. And testimony has no relevance to this. Rather, the sages wrote, thank you, that when knowledge, ilm, reached them regarding any monetary matter in a way that made their souls tranquil toward it, they ruled in accordance with that. Let me read it once more. There's two kinds of testimony. Testimony has no relevance to this kind. What do you mean? Thus, there's a method of testimony that is not through method of testimony, but rather the method of clarification of the issue in any matter. So there is testimony and there is clarification. What's the difference between testimony and clarification? I thought that we need witness to clarify the case. For monetary matters require testimony only to prevent deceit. As they stated, witnesses exist only because of liars. Lo ibru sa'adeh ela l'shakar. Therefore, in the case, it became clear to them that one of the litigants was lying, and the truth became manifest in any manner that made their soul tranquil toward it, they would rule accordingly. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means that he said that there's two kinds of testimony. One testimony is to reveal the truth. The other testimony is part of the, let's say, ceremony. Which means, if you want a witness for bill of divorce, so this is part of the ceremony of divorce or marriage. So the Jewish court should accept Jewish witnesses. But if you want the witness to clarify the case, it doesn't matter whether they are Jewish or non-Jewish. Okay? So the Talmudic phrase also speaks about we will accept just Jewish testimony. This is in cases like examples, gitei nashim, bills of divorce. If you want to clarify the case, it doesn't matter. So this is not the procedure of the regular procedure of witnesses. How can we know? How can we accept them? We accept them, he says, when the judges feel that their soul is transcribed toward those witnesses, which means they recognize that they are telling the truth, so they can be accepted the testimony. So, in this way, he explained what looked like contradiction between two sugyot. The next step, and I don't have enough time to demonstrate, but the next step will be what Rav Sadigon will do, and after that Rav Shmuel Hofni, and after that Maimonides accept but hardly, that what will happen in a case, I'm finished, thank you, I have 1 minute to conclude. What will be the case that you sit as a judge in a court, and your soul is not transcribed toward the words of the witnesses. Okay, two witnesses, and you feel it's not the truth. What you will do? Your soul, not your mind, your soul feels that something is wrong. You cannot say, okay, I feel it, Judge, I feel it. No, you cannot say that you feel it. According to the procedures, Yuval Sinai is expert in court procedures. According to the procedures, you should accept them. And some Jewish scholars from the Jewish Islamic milieu will say, no, you will not approve a case in which your soul is not transcribed toward the words, which means we took a theological idea, we used it to explain contradiction between two different cases in the Talmud, and then we took one step further and used it to create new ideas or new rulings in the Jewish law. And this is one, I think, of the most interesting cases in which you see the connection between theology and law. Thank you.